What's up, YouTube? So, it's been a while. You might be wondering where I've been, and let's talk about it. For most of 2024, I was living off-grid and didn't have good enough signal to be posting game development updates, and without consistent enough electricity to be working on my game all the time. I still found time to work on it, and I still made a ton of progress, you know? I didn't stop putting out updates. The whole time I lived there, I was putting out updates from pretty much all of 2024 up to August. And what happened was, late in the summer, somebody tried to kill me. Crazy, right? And so we had to move in a hurry, and the last 6 months, you know, since our move, from October until April, it's been kind of hectic, you know? We've been readjusting to life post-move, and it's been a lot to recenter and adjust to life again. I've been putting off making this video for a minute because it's been really hard to even just look at this. I have had to make the difficult decision to cancel Dude, Where's My Couch? So let's talk about it, because, you know, it's not a decision I'm making lightly. I've put almost 5 years into making this game and crafting every little piece of it. The last update I put out for Dude, Where's My Couch is from last August. A lot has changed since then, and I've gotten to a place where the game is like 97% done. The systems and characters and content are all locked in, the UI is as good as it would get under RPG Maker's limitations, and I even added cutscenes and tutorials to help tell the story and smoothen gameplay. All I had left to do was finish off a couple of cutscenes, tidy up a few art assets, and add in the credits. But then, the fucking Fire Nation attacked again. If you've watched some of my Patreon videos, if you've read my blog posts, you'll know that I've been bumping up against the ceiling of what RPG Maker can do pretty much the whole time. And on top of that, I've had a lot of issues with the reliability of RPG Maker itself and the reliability of the third-party code libraries that I was relying on. Famously, these are code elements that I cannot touch. No matter what, I cannot do anything about it. It's been years, like literally 2 years, of me being sick of working on it, because there's so much out of my control that what happens is I get on, do some of my game development, and then RPG Maker fucks up. And 9 times out of 10, you know, every now and again it really is something that I did wrong. It's something that I can fix. And even sometimes it's something that I could figure out in the small amount of code that I can access. But the problem is, so much of it is out of my control that it's really crossed a threshold as far as issues. I've gotten many undiagnosable crashes over the years that had to be solved by people I will never meet and never speak to, just deciding to fix something that makes it work. And that's no way to develop a game, you know? And so it's been years of this issue crops up, you know, an undiagnosable crash happens, and I just get to sit around and wait, hope something updates, and it does, and it works for like a couple more weeks until a new crash and issue happens. It's been this vicious cycle, it's been wearing me down, and for the last 2 years especially, it's just been a slog. It's been, you know, I would love to finish this game, but it seems like it does not want to be finished. And so, you know, despite everything, despite the lack of electricity, despite the lack of Wi-Fi, despite having a knife pulled on me, I've been motivated. I've been trying to push through and make it happen. But it's really gone too far. Because lately what has happened is the game just refuses to run. It just won't run. I have all of these cutscenes made, it's like, seriously, and I'm not shitting you, it is 97% complete. And here we are, stuck, this close to the finish line, and the game won't launch. If it does launch, it will maybe run for 5 minutes, or in the rare little edge case moment that I can get it to run for 10 minutes, it will get to a point where it stops rendering the graphics. Usually it will just refuse to render anything at all, but randomly it can for just a brief time. And so, from what I can gather, RPG Maker can no longer interact with Pixie.js, at least on my machine. And that is how it renders graphics. Like, it cannot talk to its own graphics library, which is just fucking ridiculous, if you ask me. I haven't made any changes to the system in a long time, but these crashes are really unmanageable. There's no error messages in RPG Maker. Opening the console or attempting to will instantly crash and close the console. And like I said earlier, most of the code is completely out of my hands. Something I cannot even open and read. It is obfuscated, compiled code. I've tried as much as I can. I've tried everything that will allow the game to still be what it is, and it's just not worth fixing. I am sick of working on it. When we lived in New Mexico, there was an artist locally who said that if she wasn't having fun with her art, she wouldn't do it. And that's where I'm at. You know, I'm sick of these constant technical issues coming up that I cannot fix. I'm dissatisfied. I've seen people play my game, I've seen footage of it, and they're kind of like, oh, this sucks, it's a grind. And I'm like, there's a lot of that has been addressed since that August update that has been up and available for people to play for almost the better part of a year now. Something similar to this happened before, way back when, 2020, when I was starting to make this game. I was using RPG Maker MV, and similar to what's happening now, the game could not run for more than a couple of minutes at a time without crashing for no reason. And what happened at that time was RPG Maker MV was Mac compatible, but after it had been out for like 5 years, they just stopped supporting the current Mac OS, but went on acting as if it was supported. That's what made me switch to MZ. That was, at the time, brand new, and at this point in time is now 5 years old. So I kind of had a hunch that something like this would happen. I wanted to believe that I could finish the game before it did, and if we hadn't had to move, I think there's a few different circumstances that maybe I could have finished the game last spring or last summer. But the odds were really stacked against me as far as living situation. And now here we are, I'm back in society, back with stable internet and electricity and all that, and it's just no longer functioning, period. And so it's not like there's a new version of RPG Maker for me to go blow $100 on and hope it works. It's just over. And that hurts. I've spent years and years and years making this game, and tons of, thousands of hours, so much effort, so much blood, sweat, and tears. And I have the files, and I have it. I can open RPG Maker, I can finish making those cutscenes if I felt like it. But at the end of the day, the truth is, it's a waste of time for me to continue. It's a waste of my time. And so, it hurts. It hurts to throw away 4 years of work, 5 years of work. And I have to respect my sanity and let it go. So there's a lot that I've learned. I've created a ton of stuff that I can repurpose, especially the characters and the world. And, this is a sign to call it good, call it quits. Don't get it twisted. I'm not done with game development. I'm not. I have a lot that I've learned, and I'm going to apply it to future projects. A big thing that I have really learned is how to manage the size, not that I have for this project, but how to manage size, how to manage scope, how to plan for the future rather than iterating endlessly on one project. I think that was a big issue here, was if I had stuck to my original mission, or if I had structured the project and the plan a different way, then it probably would have been completed a while ago. But what happened was, it just kept growing, it kept going, but it wasn't making meaningful progress, okay? So I have already entered the planning and early development phases of a new project that's going to be much shorter. I am not going to make any promises about when it will be ready. I'm not going to even really be posting about development all that much. I think a big problem that I had during the development of Dude, Where's My Couch is, you know, I also was trying to make content out of my development process. I was trying to stream game dev time on Twitch, which wasn't that interesting to people, especially not the stuff that actually needed to be done. And also, I mean, it's just hard to talk to an audience and like engage that way when I'm trying to like actually accomplish something. So no more of that. You know, I closed my Patreon account in October because the stress of the move was just too much to really be able to handle continuous posting about the game development process and continuing to write blog posts and continuing to make videos. So I just had to shut it all down. What I need to be doing is focusing on actually making things. I want to make more videos, but they won't be game dev related. So I do have plans. I have plans for future games. I have plans for future videos. Watch this space. But Dude, Where's My Couch has to be a thing of the past. It hurts to see it go, but in a way, I'm so glad it's over. So I just want to thank everyone who's ever supported me on Patreon, any random internet people who have heard my game and been excited about it. Like, seriously, thank you to all. Thank you, every last one of you. I appreciate the way you've supported me over the years and the way you've been excited for what I've been doing. Let the credits roll. I'll see you all later.